A number of years ago, I was on summer vacation in Taos, New Mexico, and I decided to go whitewater rafting. For some reason, I thought it would be like tubing down the river, and actually, it started out very much like that. It was casual and comfortable and very fun, just drifting down the river, until suddenly we encountered some very violent water, and suddenly I was paddling for my life along with everybody else on the raft. And at one point, I was sucked out of the raft and traveled for quite some time underneath the raft. It was a near death experience. When they finally found me and pulled me back into the raft, they didn't offer any condolence or assurance or comforting words. Instead, they just shoved the paddle back in my hand and screamed at me to keep on paddling. Welcome to Sunday Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. I'm not sure at coffee hour if it's a near-death experience, and we're certainly not going to scream at you and ask you to paddle any faster, but we do have some challenging conversations sometime. Last week we talked about putting a favorite pet to sleep, why women don't wear hosiery, and if Mayor Lori Lightfoot will actually be reelected as mayor of Chicago. The readings at Washington National Cathedral were for the book of Philemon, about how we're no longer slave but friend, and from Deuteronomy that we have to give up mother and father and most of our worldly comforts in order to enter the kingdom. The gospel reading was from the book of Luke, and Jesus gave the example of nobody sets out to build a tower without first figuring out if they have enough materials and funds to start the foundation and complete the work. Otherwise, they'll be the ridicule of others. And no king goes into battle without first estimating if he can win. And if he can't win, he sends delegation ahead of them to work out the terms of peace. The sermon at Washington National Cathedral was by Jan Cope. Jan is one of my favorite, and she started out her sermon with the famous Mary Oliver quote from Summer Day: "What will you do with your one wild and precious life?" Jan pointed out that for many of us in this country, this was the first time in 2 to 3 years since the pandemic that many of us took a vacation for the first time and actually took time to rest and refresh ourselves. She asked us, what did you do on summer vacation? Many times, that's a good thing to think about. What are we doing with our time and how we're spending it? And I took a little time this week to accept a lovely invitation from a couple for a boating trip on Lake Michigan, and it was the first time in many years that I had actually been on Lake Michigan. I was reminded of the beauty and majesty of it all. And what started out as a leisurely boating excursion quickly turned into a more challenging and taxing experience as we encountered choppy water and had a large wake of water behind us as we traveled at high speeds. They were throwing lines and casting things, and I had to jump to it to keep up with the pace. And they were so pleased that I was able to maneuver the boat with them and tactfully and efficiently, and they more than once complimented me on being a true mariner. I don't know if I'm a true mariner, but I was happy to rise to the occasion, and I was struck by the idea that most of us as land lovers live a pretty comfortable and casual, carefree lifestyle on land. But once we step off into a new arena, it can suddenly become very, very taxing. When Jane Cope asks us, what did we do with the summer vacation, and how will we look back and examine how we lived our one wild and precious lives, I guess that is the question. We can look back and think, did we live a casual and comfortable life, or did we live a challenging and whole and complete life? Were we sitting back and taking the comfortable route, or did we bring our work to completion? If you would like to join us at Sunday Coffee Hour is every Sunday at 12 noon. I'll be happy to send you an invitation. I will include my email in the description of this video, so I might do so, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.